Have you ever stood outside on a completely moonless night, far away from the glowing artificial lights of any restless city, and looked up into the profound, quiet darkness between the stars? Have you ever wondered why, when we stare into that seemingly endless black void, our minds sometimes play gentle tricks on us, giving us the strange, almost primal sensation that the empty space is somehow looking back? It is a deeply human feeling, a quiet whisper in the back of our minds suggesting that the darkness is not truly empty, but rather a curtain concealing an ancient mystery. For most of our history, we dismissed this feeling as a mere trick of human psychology, an artifact of our evolutionary past, when the dark hid real predators in the shadows of the ancient world. We thought that the space between the glittering stars was simply a vast, silent emptiness, a freezing vacuum devoid of any movement, structure, or meaning. But what if that instinct, that gentle nudge of intuition, was not entirely wrong? What if the universe, in all its infinite mystery, was hiding something ancient and massive in the very places where we thought nothing could possibly exist? My name is Theodore, the researcher, and I want to invite you to join me on a quiet journey into the unknown depths of the cosmos. I have noticed that 71% of the people who find comfort and wonder in our contemplative explorations are not yet subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy our peaceful deep dives into the cosmos, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps us tremendously and ensures we can continue unraveling the gentle mysteries of the universe together, building a community of curious minds seeking peace in the stars. Now, let us return to the dark and let your mind drift into the vast silence. Let us cast our minds out into the freezing depths of space, about 1 million miles away from the familiar warmth and safety of our home planet, Earth. There, suspended in the silent void, sits a marvel of human ingenuity and collaborative spirit, a golden eye gazing outward into the deepest, most remote reaches of the cosmos. The James Webb Space Telescope is not just a collection of meticulously crafted beryllium mirrors and complex wires. It is a profound extension of our collective curiosity, an instrument carefully designed to look past the veil of human limitation. Unlike our biological eyes, which are constrained to see only a tiny, narrow sliver of the electromagnetic spectrum, this grand observatory was built to see the invisible. It sees in infrared light, capturing the faint, ghostly signatures of ancient heat that have been traveling tirelessly through the endless vacuum for billions of years. When we point this incredibly sensitive instrument at what appears to our naked eyes to be a completely blank, empty patch of the night sky, it does not see emptiness. It sees a universe teeming with hidden structures, glowing nurseries of cosmic dust, and incredibly distant galaxies that shine like embers in the dark. But recently, while staring into the deep, quiet darkness of the cosmos, it captured something entirely unexpected. It found a shadow that moved. To truly understand the magnitude of this gentle revelation, we must first change how we fundamentally think about the dark. We are so deeply accustomed to the light. Our entire existence, our biology, our daily rhythms are governed by the bright, life-giving rays of our local star, the sun. We measure our days by the sun's passage, and our nights by the reflected light of the moon and the distant twinkling of other suns. Because of this, we have developed a deep, unconscious bias. We naturally assume that if something is important, if something is massive or significant in the grand scheme of things, it must shine brilliantly. We believe that the stars are the main actors on the cosmic stage, and the dark space between them is nothing more than an empty, silent theater waiting for the light. But the cosmos is far more complex, far more subtle, and infinitely more mysterious than our daily terrestrial experience would ever suggest. The truth, revealed slowly through decades of careful observation and quiet, meticulous deduction, is that the visible light we see with our eyes accounts for only a microscopic fraction of what actually exists in the universe. The universe is primarily made of things that do not shine, things that rest in the silent dark. It is a vast, invisible ocean of unseen mass and undetectable energy. When the James Webb Space Telescope peers into the deep space, it is actively looking for the faint, lingering warmth of objects that are simply too cold to emit visible light, but still hold a gentle residue of ancient heat from their formation. This miraculous capability allows us to peer deeply into the dense, opaque molecular clouds where new stars are taking their first, quiet breaths, and it allows us to look back in time to the very dawn of creation, close to the primordial beginnings. But the darkness also hides solitary wanderers. For many long years, astronomers have theorized about the existence of objects that drift silently through the interstellar silence, unbound to any host star, moving relentlessly through the perpetual night. These are the rogue planets, the failed stars known as brown dwarfs, the solitary voyagers of the galactic deep. They have no sun to light their days, no solar system to call home, no predictable orbit to trace through the heavens. They simply exist in the quiet cold, wandering through the infinite expanse of the Milky Way galaxy. Until relatively recently, they were little more than mathematical ghosts, hypothetical objects whose existence was logically necessary, based on our models of planetary formation, but almost impossibly difficult to actually confirm. After all, how do you see something that emits no visible light, reflects no starlight, and is completely surrounded by an endless expanse of absolute, freezing black? It requires a special kind of observational patience, a willingness to sit in the quiet and watch the darkness until the darkness finally decides to reveal its subtle secrets. This is exactly what the golden mirrors of our greatest telescope were doing when they noticed the subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the dark. Imagine the scene from the perspective of the telescope's incredibly sensitive detectors floating a million miles away in the silent cold. For hours, days, perhaps even weeks, it gathers ancient photons one by one. These are particles of light that have traveled across mind-boggling distances, crossing the vast empty gulfs between galaxies to finally strike the highly polished beryllium mirrors. The image that slowly builds up in the data is a masterpiece of cosmic structure, a rich tapestry of extremely distant galaxies that look like tiny glowing jewels scattered across an endless velvet cloth. But then, as the dedicated researchers analyze the complex data, comparing images of the exact same patch of sky taken over a period of time, they notice a profound anomaly. Something in the foreground, something much closer to our own solar system than those distant background galaxies, has slightly changed its position. It is certainly not a star. It has no nuclear fusion engine burning fiercely at its core. It is not a known asteroid or a wandering comet from the frozen outer edges of our own solar system. It is a massive, cold, dark body drifting silently and steadily through the interstellar space, and it briefly passed directly in front of the distant background light. In a beautifully complex phenomenon known to physicists as gravitational microlensing, the sheer mass of this invisible, rogue object gently warped the very fabric of space-time around it. As it drifted across our direct line of sight, its gravity acted exactly like a massive magnifying glass, momentarily bending, distorting, and amplifying the faint, ancient light of a background star or galaxy. For a fleeting cosmic moment, the invisible became undeniably visible. not by shining its own light into the void, but by distorting the light of something else, far away. It was a soft gravitational whisper, a subtle, gentle tap on the shoulder from the dark universe, reminding us that we are constantly surrounded by unseen giants in the deep. This brief, silent interaction between light, gravity, and invisible mass is a perfect, poetic illustration of the quiet majesty of cosmic physics. When we take a moment to truly contemplate this solitary wanderer, moving endlessly through the vast silence, we are invited to deeply reconsider our own place in the universe. We sit comfortably on our warm, illuminated blue planet, completely dependent on the constant, reliable energy of our local star, and we naturally, instinctively assume that all worlds must somehow be like ours. We imagine that to be a true planet is to orbit a bright sun, to have a warm day and a cool night, to experience the rhythmic turning of the seasons. But this moving shadow in the deep space profoundly challenges that Earth-centric assumption. It represents a completely different, almost unimaginable kind of planetary existence, a world wrapped in an eternal, starless, pitch-black night, a place of profound and unbroken silence, where the surface temperature hovers just a few agonizing degrees above absolute zero. What kind of ancient history does such an isolated object have? How long has it been drifting through the unforgiving cosmic ocean? Perhaps it was born in the chaotic, violent, swirling disk of a young, forming solar system billions of years ago. Perhaps, in a complex and unstable gravitational dance with its massive sibling planets, it was forcefully and violently ejected from its home, cast out into the freezing void to wander forever alone. Or perhaps it formed entirely on its own, a dark, quiet collapse of primordial gas and dust in the deep interstellar medium, a lonely world that never once knew the warmth of a parent star. Whatever its true origin might be, its undeniable presence out there in the dark fills me with a deep, resonating sense of wonder. It is a powerful reminder that the cosmos is not just a collection of bright, burning, visible things. It is also a vast, gentle sanctuary for the quiet, the cold, and the hidden. And the fact that we, small biological creatures bound to a tiny rocky world, have managed to build an instrument capable of detecting the invisible shadow of a dark world moving across the background of infinity, that is a profound testament to the beautiful, unyielding human desire to understand the mystery of our existence. We are the universe looking back at itself, finding meaning and breathtaking beauty, not just in the brilliant light, but in the deepest, most silent, and most ancient shadows of the night. As we sit here together, contemplating the quiet magnitude of this discovery, let the silence of the space settle over you. Imagine the gentle, continuous journey of that dark planet, moving without sound, without light, tracing an invisible path through the galaxy. It does not know of our existence, just as we did not know of its existence until this brief, magical intersection of gravity and light. But now, we are inextricably connected by the fundamental laws of nature. Through the golden mirrors of the James Webb Space Telescope, across trillions of miles of seemingly empty space, human curiosity has reached out and gently touched the unseen. This is the true nature of scientific exploration. It is not just about cataloging cold facts or calculating immense distances. It is about continuously expanding the fragile boundaries of our empathy and our imagination to encompass the entire cosmos. It is about learning to find deep comfort in the vastness and genuine peace in the knowledge that we are part of a universe that is infinitely more complex and more beautiful than we could have ever dreamed in our wildest terrestrial imaginations. The journey of discovery is an endless, winding road, and every new shadow we uncover only deepens the rich, compelling mystery of the whole. So, as we prepare to delve further into the profound implications of these cosmic ghosts in our next steps together, take a slow, deep breath and let the profound stillness of the universe wash over you entirely, reminding you that even in the darkest, most quiet corners of reality, there is always something wondrous waiting to be found. Have you ever closed your eyes on a crisp, moonless night and felt the residual warmth of a dying fire radiating against your skin? You cannot see the flames, yet you know the source of the heat is there, resting in the dark, telling a silent story of energy and transformation. This is the exact principle that allows our greatest instruments to gaze into the infinite cosmic ocean and discover entities that prefer the shadows. The James Webb Space Telescope does not rely on the visible light that our biological human eyes require to make sense of the world. Instead, it senses the delicate, ancient warmth of creation itself. It is a magnificent machine designed to feel the universe, catching the faint thermal signatures of objects that have been wandering through the boundless silence for billions of years. When we consider the massive moving shadow detected in the deep space, we must remember that it is not emitting a brilliant beacon for us to follow. It is merely possessing a temperature just a few degrees above absolute zero, a residual memory of its violent birth in some long-forgotten stellar nursery. This thermal whisper is the only clue we have to its existence. As we journey further into this mystery, we realize that the space between the stars is a crowded, rich realm, populated by solitary wanderers that might outnumber the shining stars themselves. Hello, once again. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and as we continue this peaceful exploration of the unseen cosmos, I want to mention that 71% of the people who watch our videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace and wonder in these gentle, deep dives into the universe, please consider subscribing. It helps our community grow and ensures we can keep sharing these quiet cosmic journeys together. Now, let us return to the immense, silent dark and the shadows that drift within it. To grasp the true scale of what moves in the darkness, we must abandon our terrestrial preconceptions of what constitutes a world. On Earth, our reality is defined by cycles of illumination. Dawn and dusk shape our biology and our philosophy. But for a rogue world, a solitary wanderer cast adrift in the deep cosmic ocean, time is measured not by the passage of a sun, but by the subtle rotation of the galaxy itself. These cosmic orphans inhabit a realm of perpetual twilight, illuminated only by the faint, distant starlight of the Milky Way, appearing as mere specks of dust against the vast canvas of the infinite cosmos. Imagine standing on the surface of such a world. Above you, there is no warm sun to thaw the frozen ground. The sky is an eternal, unchanging dome of deepest black, studded with billions of distant, uncaring stars. It is a place of profound silence, a quiet majesty that challenges our fundamental understanding of existence. Scientists estimate there might be billions, perhaps even trillions of these free-floating worlds in our galaxy alone. The numbers are staggering, spelling out a reality where the dark, unseen mass of the universe dwarfs the glowing stars we have worshipped for millennia. A single galaxy could harbor more rogue planets than actual stars, forming a hidden population of travelers moving through the cosmic void. When the James Webb Space Telescope caught a glimpse of one such shadow, it was not merely finding an anomaly, it was pulling back the curtain on the true nature of the universe. The cosmos is not an empty void punctuated by isolated islands of light. It is a vast, ancient sea of matter, most of which is entirely invisible to our organic senses. This realization brings a strange, comforting humility. We are accustomed to placing ourselves at the center of the narrative, believing that the light of our star and the warmth of our planet represent the standard for cosmic significance. Yet, the overwhelming majority of the universe exists in the cold, the dark, and the quiet. These rogue worlds are not failed planets. They are the silent majority of the cosmos. Their existence poses profound existential questions. What defines a world? Is it the presence of a binding star? Or is it the simple, persistent existence of mass and memory in the void? Consider the origins of these solitary entities. Many were likely born in the chaotic, swirling disks of gas and dust that surround young stars. In those crowded, turbulent environments, gravitational dances often turn violent. A near miss with a massive gas giant, a subtle shift in orbital resonance, and a young world can be torn from its stellar tether, flung out into the freezing expanse of interstellar space. It is a dramatic birth, a sudden exile into the infinite dark. Yet, once cast out, these worlds enter a state of profound preservation. Away from the destructive flares of a volatile parent star, away from the devastating impacts of inter-system asteroids, a rogue planet can exist in a state of deep freeze for billions of years. They are pristine time capsules, holding the ancient chemical signatures of the primordial clouds from which they formed. Other shadows in the dark are far more massive, straddling the delicate line between a large planet and a small star. These are the brown dwarfs, celestial objects that gathered substantial mass during their formation, yet failed to reach the critical threshold required to ignite nuclear fusion in their cores. They are the smoldering embers of the universe, radiating a faint, fading heat into the void. A brown dwarf might possess tens of times the mass of our largest gas giant, exerting a massive gravitational influence on the space around it, yet remaining almost entirely invisible to optical telescopes. They drift through the galaxy like silent leviathans, their presence betrayed only by the subtle warping of space-time or the faint glow of their internal heat, captured by instruments like James Webb. The shadow that passed before the golden mirrors of our telescope could belong to one of these massive, failed stars. As it drifted across the backdrop of distant galaxies, its immense gravity bent the ancient light, creating a fleeting mirage, a cosmic magnifying glass that revealed its hidden presence. This delicate interaction, this brief convergence of light, mass, and human ingenuity, is a testament to our relentless pursuit of the unknown. We have constructed a mechanical eye capable of piercing the veil of the dark, and in doing so, we have expanded the boundaries of our own reality. To contemplate these silent wanderers is to embrace the true scale of the infinite. It is an invitation to look beyond the reassuring glow of our local star and confront the profound, beautiful mystery of the dark. When we stare into the night sky, we are not looking at an empty stage. We are peering into a dense, populated ocean of unseen worlds and invisible giants. The silence of space is not a lack of presence. It is a quiet chorus of countless objects moving through the ancient dark. This understanding does not diminish our own existence. Rather, it elevates it. We are the conscious observers of this grand, silent dance. We are the universe waking up, building instruments of beryllium and gold to sense the gentle warmth of our unseen neighbors. What if, beneath the frozen surface of a rogue world, deep within its dark interior, the residual heat of its formation sustains an ocean of liquid water? The laws of physics allow for such hidden sanctuaries, places where the building blocks of life might exist in absolute darkness, warmed entirely by the internal pulse of a solitary planet. The universe is endlessly inventive, and we must remain open to the possibility that life in forms we cannot yet imagine, might find a way to thrive in the most extreme, isolated environments. This is the profound beauty of cosmic exploration. Every shadow we investigate, every anomaly we detect, holds the promise of rewriting our understanding of what is possible. Let us take a moment to absorb the magnitude of this revelation. The universe is richer, darker, and infinitely more complex than we ever dared to imagine. The shadow captured by the telescope is not a cause for fear, but a profound reason for wonder. It represents a vast, unexplored frontier, a call to expand our minds and our hearts to encompass the true nature of reality. We are part of a cosmos that hides its greatest treasures in the silent dark, waiting for us to develop the vision and the wisdom to seek them out. The gentle motion of that unseen mass is a reminder that the universe is never truly still. Even in the deepest void, there is progression, there is journey, and there is an ancient story waiting to be told. Let the realization of this unseen multitude wash over you. There are worlds out there, cast out from their suns, drifting in the cold, carrying the ancient dust of the cosmos on their frozen surfaces. They are the quiet sentinels of the galaxy, enduring the passage of eons in absolute silence. When you feel small in the face of such immense scale, remember that you are connected to it all. You are not an isolated entity, but a living, breathing extension of the cosmos. The same gravity that guides the silent rogue planets also anchors your feet to the earth. The very atoms that compose your body were forged in the same cosmic fires that birthed these silent wanderers. You are an integral part of this grand, unfolding narrative, a conscious mind capable of grasping the infinite. We will follow the trajectory of this moving shadow further. We will explore the physics that govern its journey and the profound mysteries it carries within its frozen core. We will ask what happens when one of these solitary voyagers crosses paths with another star system, or when it plunges into the chaotic heart of a nebula. The universe is a dynamic, ever-changing tapestry, and the dark threads are just as crucial to the overall masterpiece as the brilliant strands of starlight. The exploration of the unknown is a path without end, a continuous pursuit of understanding that elevates our spirit and brings a deep, resonant peace to our restless minds. Let the silence of the interstellar void become a source of comfort, a reminder that there is always more to discover, always more to learn, and always more wonder waiting in the dark. Have you ever taken a long walk with no destination in mind, letting your feet guide you through an unfamiliar landscape as the evening light fades into night? There is a profound sense of freedom in wandering, a quiet release from the heavy anchors of routine and expectation. We tend to think of wandering as a temporary state, a brief departure before returning to the safety of home. But imagine a journey that has no end and no beginning, a perpetual motion through an endless expanse. This is the reality for the dark entities drifting in the spaces between the stars. We call them rogue planets or isolated brown dwarfs, but these scientific classifications fail to capture the poetic isolation of their existence. They are unbound from the gravitational tether of a parent star, free to roam the vast galactic wilderness. Yet, even in this profound isolation, they are never alone. The void they traverse is not an empty canvas. It is a subtle, whispering sea of particles and ancient energy. Welcome back to our quiet exploration. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this journey through the dark. I want to take a brief moment to mention that 71% of the people who find a sense of calm in these cosmic stories have not yet subscribed to our channel. If you feel a connection to the mysteries we explore and seek a peaceful refuge in the wonders of science, please consider subscribing. It supports our mission to bring the quiet beauty of the universe to curious minds everywhere. Let us return our gaze to the deep dark. We picture space as a perfect vacuum, a complete absence of matter. This is a common misconception born from our earthly experience, where air fills every available crevice. In truth, the interstellar medium is a tenuous soup of gas and dust. If you were to cup your hands in the deepest part of the void, you might capture only a single atom of hydrogen. It is a density so low it defies human comprehension. Yet, across the infinite stretches of the cosmos, these lone atoms accumulate into something tangible. They form a gentle resistance, a cosmic breeze that washes over everything moving through it. When a massive, cold body like our rogue wanderer moves through this medium, it creates a subtle disturbance. Even without the brilliant light of a star, this interaction produces a faint signature, a whisper of heat that the James Webb Space Telescope can detect with its golden mirrors. Consider the magnetic field. Many planets, including our own Earth, possess a magnetic shield generated by a churning core of liquid metal. It protects us from the harsh radiation of our sun. A massive rogue planet, cooling in the dark, might still retain a churning heart. This motion generates a magnetic field that extends far beyond its frozen surface. As the wanderer plows through the interstellar medium, its magnetic shield collides with the sparse atoms of gas. This collision does not produce a violent explosion or a flash of blinding light. Instead, it creates a gentle bow shock, a slow and quiet compression of particles that heats the gas a fraction of a degree. It is like the soft wake left by a ship gliding through a calm night sea. Our golden telescope is tuned to see this kind of subtle thermal emission. It peers into the infrared spectrum, looking for objects that remain invisible to human eyes. When astronomers analyze the data from James Webb, they look for the shapes of these invisible wakes in the dark. A moving shadow might reveal its presence not just by blocking background stars, but by the faint, warm aura of its passage through the cosmic ocean. This reveals a universe that is highly interactive, even in its unlit corners. Nothing exists in absolute isolation. Everything touches the fabric of the cosmos in some way. The temperature of this bow shock is low, perhaps only 10 or 20 degrees above absolute zero. To detect such a minute variation in heat across trillions of miles of space is a triumph of human engineering. The instruments on James Webb must be cooled to temperatures approaching absolute zero themselves just to function. They must be colder than the space they are observing, ensuring that the telescope heat does not blind its sensitive detectors. It is a delicate dance of thermal engineering, a marvel of science that allows us to map the invisible contours of the dark. Think about the journey of this dark sphere. For billions of years, it has known nothing but the soft touch of the interstellar wind. It has passed through ancient clouds of molecular dust, the stellar nurseries where new stars are waiting to be born. It might have drifted near the remnants of a dead star, a glowing nebula of expelled gas illuminated by the ghostly light of a white dwarf. Throughout it all, the wanderer remains cold and silent, a passive observer to the grand cycles of stellar birth and death. It carries the history of the galaxy on its frozen surface, a record of the cosmic weather it has endured over eons. If we could reach out and sample the frost on such a world, we would find a chemical archive of the universe itself. We might find complex organic molecules, the building blocks of life, preserved in deep freeze. These molecules form in the cold, dense clouds of the interstellar medium, where sparse atoms occasionally meet and bond over millions of years. A rogue planet acts as a gravitational sweeping mechanism, collecting this ancient dust as it moves. Its surface is a museum of cosmic chemistry, untouched by the destructive radiation of a nearby sun. It is a pristine record of the materials that make up our galaxy, waiting in the dark. To understand the age of these objects, we must stretch our imagination back to the early epochs of the universe. Some of these wanderers might be almost as old as the cosmos itself. In the first few billion years after the universe began to expand, star formation was a chaotic and violent process. Massive clusters of stars formed in tight proximity, their gravitational fields interacting in complex and unpredictable ways. In this turbulent environment, countless young planets were cast out from their host systems. These primordial wanderers have been drifting ever since. They have orbited the center of the Milky Way galaxy dozens of times, tracing vast solitary paths through the spiral arms. They have witnessed the birth of our sun and the formation of the Earth from a distance of thousands of light years. They are the silent witnesses to the entire history of our galactic neighborhood. The sheer scale of time involved is humbling. A human life spans less than a century. Human civilization has existed for perhaps 10,000 years, but these dark worlds have been moving through the silence for 10 billion years. Their existence dwarfs our own narrative, reminding us of the deep, ancient rhythms of the cosmos. This invisible journey challenges our understanding of purpose and destination. In human terms, a journey must have a goal. We move from one point to another to achieve a result. But the rogue planet moves because momentum and gravity dictate its path. It is a testament to the raw mechanics of nature. Yet, there is a profound beauty in this purposeless motion. It invites us to appreciate existence for its own sake. The wanderer does not need a sun to validate its presence. It does not need observers to confirm its reality. It is a monument to the simple fact of being. In our frantic, goal-oriented lives, contemplating this endless drift can bring a deep sense of peace. We are reminded that we are part of this grand flow of time and space. We are allowed to exist, to drift for a while, and observe the wonder around us. We do not always need to shine bright to be significant. Sometimes there is immense power in quiet endurance, in moving through the dark with a calm and steady pace. The universe makes space for the loud and the quiet, the bright and the invisible. Imagine the sky from the surface of this wandering world. Without an atmosphere to scatter light, the stars would appear with a piercing clarity. The band of the Milky Way would stretch across the heavens, a glowing river of distant suns. But the ground beneath your feet would be plunged in eternal night. The silence would be absolute, a physical presence pressing against your senses. It is a landscape of stark contrasts, a world defined by what it lacks as much as by what it possesses, yet it is made of the exact same fundamental elements that make up our bodies. The carbon, the iron, the silicon. These elements were forged in the hearts of ancient stars and scattered across the void. The rogue planet is a sibling to the Earth, shaped by the same cosmic forces, bound by the same laws of physics. When we use the James Webb Space Telescope to look out into the dark, we are looking at our extended cosmic family. We are mapping the diverse ways that matter organizes itself in the universe. We are learning that the conditions for existence are far more varied and resilient than we once thought. The shadow caught by the telescope is a gentle invitation to expand our perspective. It asks us to look past the obvious, to seek out the hidden structures of reality. It teaches us that absence of light is not absence of matter, and absence of sound is not absence of motion. The cosmos is a tapestry woven with threads of both brilliant energy and deep, ancient cold. As we continue to process the data from our golden eye in space, we will undoubtedly find more of these silent wanderers. We will build a map of the dark universe, tracing the paths of the invisible. Each new discovery will add a layer of complexity to our understanding of the cosmic dance. We are transitioning from an era of astronomy focused solely on the light to an era that embraces the shadows. It is a maturation of our scientific vision, a step towards a more complete comprehension of the infinite. And as we map this dark terrain, we may find answers to questions we have not yet learned to ask. Have you ever dropped a stone into a calm, still pond and watched the ripples spread outward in perfect concentric circles? Even after the stone has vanished beneath the dark surface, its impact alters the water, bending the light and changing the reflection of the world above. This simple act of displacement mirrors one of the most profound and mysterious mechanisms in our universe. Space is not an empty void. It is a fabric, a flexible tapestry woven from the threads of distance and time. When an object of immense mass exists within this fabric, it creates a depression, a deep cosmic valley. We experience this depression as gravity, the invisible force that anchors us to our world and binds the moon to the earth. But gravity achieves more than pulling matter together. It bends light itself. An invisible wanderer, a rogue world drifting through the ancient dark, possesses enough mass to warp the very foundation of reality around it. As it moves along its quiet path, it drags this warp with it, creating a traveling ripple in the cosmic pond. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and I welcome you to our continuing gentle journey through the stars. I want to pause to mention that 71% of the people who watch these explorations remain unsubscribed to our channel. If you find comfort in these stories and wish to support our continuous journey into the vast cosmos, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps us a great deal to keep unraveling the gentle mysteries of the universe. Let us return to the invisible ripples in the dark. When the James Webb Space Telescope gazes into the infinite expanse, it relies on this warping of space to see the unseen. The phenomenon is called gravitational microlensing. Imagine a distant star shining with a brilliant, steady glow, located thousands of light years behind our invisible wanderer. The light from that distant star has been traveling through the silence for eons, moving in a straight line through the cold vacuum. But as those ancient photons approach the massive, dark body of the rogue planet, they enter the invisible valley created by its gravity. The straight path becomes curved. The light is bent around the sphere of the wanderer, focused and magnified as if passing through a colossal glass lens. For a brief, fleeting period, the distant star appears to brighten, an unexpected flare in the continuous night. This temporary brightening is a gift from the laws of physics, a brief window into a reality that would remain concealed without this gravitational interaction. The universe uses its own fabric to reveal its secrets, turning gravity into a tool for discovery. Astronomers map these invisible distortions with painstaking care, tracing the curves of light to build a catalog of ghosts. The James Webb Space Telescope, with its exquisite sensitivity to infrared light, captures this temporary brightening. By analyzing the exact shape and duration of this light curve, astronomers can determine the mass and the velocity of the hidden object passing in front of the background star. They measure a shadow by the way it distorts the light of others. This is a profound concept to hold in your mind. We discover the presence of a dark, silent world, not through direct observation, but by watching its impact on the surrounding environment. The universe is a web of subtle connections, a place where the most isolated entities leave an undeniable mark on the fabric of existence. The instruments aboard the telescope are marvels of human ambition. They operate in temperatures approaching absolute zero, shielded by a massive sunshade that blocks the glaring heat of our own star. This extreme cold is necessary because the telescope is designed to detect the faintest whispers of thermal radiation. If the mirrors were warm, they would glow in infrared light, blinding the sensors to the delicate signals from the deep cosmos. This engineering requirement forces us to embrace the cold to understand the universe. In a similar way, the rogue planet embraces the cold. Without a host star to warm its surface, its temperature plummets. Any atmosphere it might possess would freeze, falling to the ground as a strange, alien snow of methane or nitrogen. The surface becomes a landscape of frozen plains and silent mountains, preserved in a state of eternal winter. Yet, deep beneath this frozen crust, the core of the planet might retain the residual heat of its violent birth. This internal warmth, insulated by miles of ice and rock, could create hidden oceans, vast subterranean seas of liquid water. In these dark, pressurized depths, the conditions might mimic the hydrothermal vents at the bottom of our own earthly oceans. Such places are rich with chemical energy, environments where the fundamental building blocks of life could assemble without the need for starlight. The possibility that life might exist in the absolute dark, sustained by the fading heartbeat of a rogue planet alone, challenges our most basic assumptions about habitability. It expands the boundaries of our imagination and fills the quiet void with the potential for unimagined wonders. Consider the passage of time on such a world. On Earth, our sense of time is dictated by the rhythm of the sun, the turning of the seasons, the cycle of day and night. But in the infinite dark, there are no seasons. There is no sunrise to mark the beginning of a day, no sunset to signal its end. Time becomes a continuous, unbroken stretch of existence. The journey of the rogue planet is measured not in years or centuries, but in galactic orbits, periods spanning hundreds of millions of human years. A million years remains a brief moment in the life of this wanderer. This vast temporal scale is difficult for the human mind to grasp. We are creatures of brief moments, living our lives in the span of a few fleeting decades. To contemplate a journey that lasts for billions of years requires a specific kind of intellectual humility. It demands that we step outside our limited perspective and attempt to view the cosmos through the lens of eternity. When we do this, the frantic pace of our daily lives begins to slow. The trivial concerns that occupy our minds seem to fade into the background, replaced by a deep, resonant sense of peace. The universe does not rush. It unfolds with a slow, deliberate grace, moving to a rhythm that is ancient and profound. The shadow drifting through the dark is a master of this cosmic patience. It moves through the silence with a steady, unhurried pace, oblivious to the passage of eons. It has seen the birth and death of stars, the slow collision of immense galaxies, the continuous reshaping of the heavens. It is a silent witness to the history of creation, carrying the secrets of the past in its frozen heart. There is a strange, paradoxical comfort in knowing that such isolated worlds exist. In a universe composed of vast distances and profound emptiness, we experience a recurring sense of loneliness. We look into the dark and wonder if we are the only minds capable of asking questions. The discovery of a rogue planet does not answer this question, but it changes the context of our solitude. We share the galaxy with countless other wanderers, silent companions drifting through the same cosmic ocean. They may not possess consciousness. They may not return the gaze of the stars with wondering eyes, but they are a part of the grand tapestry of existence. They are formed from the same stardust that runs through our veins, shaped by the same fundamental forces that guide our world. The carbon, the oxygen, the iron scattered across the galaxy connect us to these dark spheres in a profound and literal way. The James Webb Space Telescope, our golden eye in the dark, acts as a bridge between our warm, sunlit world and these frozen, solitary giants. It allows us to reach across the void and touch the invisible, translating the silent whispers of gravity and heat into data that our human minds can comprehend. This act of discovery is a powerful expression of our nature. We are driven to understand, to map the unknown, to find meaning in the vastness of space. Every shadow we detect, every distant light we analyze, brings us one step closer to unraveling the grand mystery of the cosmos. As we continue to study the data from this remarkable instrument, we are bound to uncover more secrets hidden in the interstellar medium. The dark is not empty, it is waiting. It is a repository of ancient stories and future discoveries, a silent frontier that beckons us to explore. Let your thoughts drift along with the invisible wanderer. Feel the slow, steady pull of its gravity, the quiet chill of its frozen surface, the profound silence of its endless journey. Allow the immense scale of the universe to quiet your mind and soothe your spirit. We are a tiny part of a magnificent whole, observers privileged to witness the slow, majestic dance of the cosmos. The mystery is deep, the journey is infinite, and the discoveries are beginning. Have you ever placed your hand against a stone wall, hours after the sun has dipped below the horizon? The stone feels warm to the touch, holding on to the memory of the day. The light is gone. The sky has turned a deep indigo, yet the energy remains trapped within the solid rock, radiating a quiet history of the afternoon. This simple interaction with the world around us holds the key to understanding how we peer into the deepest, darkest corners of the cosmos. Our human eyes are built to perceive the immediate, the bright, the present moment of visible light. We look up at the night sky and see the brilliant fusion engines of distant stars, assuming that light equals existence. But the universe remembers its past in ways our eyes cannot see. Heat is the memory of the cosmos. It is the lingering fingerprint of creation, the subtle residue of ancient forces at work in the dark. The James Webb Space Telescope was not built to look at the present visible universe. It was constructed to feel the memory of the cosmos, to detect the faint, invisible warmth radiating from objects that have long since abandoned the light. It senses the infrared spectrum, the realm of heat and memory, allowing us to perceive the massive shapes that move through the shadows. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and I am honored to be your guide on this continuing journey into the quiet mysteries of space. Before we delve deeper into the nature of this hidden warmth, I must mention that 71% of the people who watch our videos and share in this calm exploration have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace in these stories and wish to support our quest to understand the universe, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps us continue to craft these contemplative journeys for you. Now, let us return to the invisible warmth and the shadows it revealed in the dark. To grasp how this golden eye in the sky functions, we must expand our understanding of light. Imagine a grand piano with a keyboard that stretches out for miles in both directions. Human vision only allows us to hear the notes of a single central octave. We call this tiny sliver the visible spectrum. All the colors of a rainbow, all the beauty of a terrestrial sunset fit into this narrow band of perception. But the universe plays a symphony on the entire keyboard. Beyond the red edge of our vision lies the infrared, a realm of long, drawn-out wavelengths. This is the light of heat. Every object in the universe that possesses a temperature above absolute zero emits this light. a cup of warm tea, the human body, a distant cloud of cosmic dust, and a rogue world wandering through the void, all hum with infrared energy. The James Webb Space Telescope is tuned to this specific frequency. Its massive, gold-coated beryllium mirrors are designed to catch these long, lazy waves of heat and focus them into an image of the unseen. When we consider the moving shadow detected in the depths of space, we must remember that it is a world defined by cold. It has no host star to bathe it in radiation. Its surface is a frozen wasteland, locked in a perpetual winter that has lasted for eons. Yet, it is not at absolute zero. Deep within its core, a slow, ancient fire still smolders. This is the heat of its formation, the kinetic energy of countless collisions that built the planet billions of years ago, trapped beneath thousands of miles of rock and ice. Over vast stretches of time, this internal heat seeps outward, reaching the frozen surface and escaping into the vacuum of space. To our eyes, the planet is pitch black, indistinguishable from the background void. But to the sensitive infrared detectors of the telescope, it glows with a faint, ghostly aura. It is a whisper of warmth in an ocean of freezing cold. Detecting this whisper requires an instrument of unparalleled precision and profound isolation. The telescope itself must be shielded from the overwhelming heat of our sun, our earth, and our moon. It sits behind a tennis court-sized sun shield, a multi-layered parasol that blocks the solar radiation and plunges the optical instruments into a deep freeze. Operating at temperatures just a few degrees above the absolute minimum, the telescope achieves a state of extreme thermal quiet. In this manufactured silence, it can hear the faint infrared echoes of the cosmos. It is a testament to human ingenuity that we have built a machine capable of such profound stillness, allowing us to listen to the delicate murmurs of the ancient universe. As the telescope stares into the dark patches of the sky, it gathers these infrared photons one by one. It is an exercise in extreme patience. Days and weeks of observation are combined to build a single comprehensive image. And within this data, the moving shadow reveals itself. It is not a sharp silhouette, but a subtle shifting of heat signatures against the backdrop of distant galaxies. By tracking this movement over time, astronomers can calculate the trajectory and the speed of the rogue wanderer. They can estimate its mass and its distance from our solar system. They extract a wealth of knowledge from a mere trace of ancient warmth. If it is a brown dwarf, a star that failed to ignite, its atmosphere might be a chaotic place. Despite the freezing temperatures of space, the internal heat can drive massive weather systems. Clouds of vaporized iron and molten silicate might churn in the upper atmosphere, driven by supersonic winds. These metal storms would rage in absolute darkness, an unseen ballet of violent meteorology. The sheer alien nature of such an environment defies our terrestrial intuition. The idea of iron rain falling through a pitch-black sky challenges our understanding of what a weather system can be. Yet, the universe experiments with chemistry and physics on a grand scale, creating worlds of bizarre and terrifying beauty. If the object is a terrestrial rogue planet, a rocky world cast out into the void, its surface would be a monument to preservation. Without an atmosphere to erode the landscape, the surface would remain unchanged for billions of years. Craters from ancient impacts would sit pristine and untouched. Mountains thrust up during the planet's violent youth would cast permanent shadows under the faint light of the Milky Way. It would be a world of absolute stillness, a museum locked in a deep freeze. There is a profound philosophical implication to these hidden worlds. They remind us that the majority of the universe exists outside our immediate perception. The stars that define our night sky are the exception, not the rule. The true bulk of cosmic mass resides in the dark, in the form of rogue planets, cold gas clouds, and dark matter. Our luminous reality is a thin veneer over a vast, unseen foundation. We are surrounded by a universe of infinite depth and complexity. Every shadow holds a story. Every patch of empty space is a potential reservoir of hidden wonders. The discovery of this moving shadow by the James Webb Space Telescope is a gentle nudge to our collective consciousness. It asks us to look closer, to question our assumptions about emptiness and light. It invites us to appreciate the subtle forces that shape the cosmos. Gravity and heat, memory and mass, these are the invisible threads that weave the tapestry of existence. Consider the sheer vastness of the space this object traverses. It moves through the interstellar medium, a region so sparse that a single atom might travel for millions of miles before encountering another. It is an environment of extreme isolation. Yet, the rogue planet carries its own complex reality within it. It has a core, a mantle, perhaps a frozen ocean, and a swirling atmosphere. It is a complete, self-contained system moving through the void. It does not need the light of a star to validate its existence. It simply is. The contemplation of this cosmic wanderer can bring a deep sense of peace to an active mind. In our world of constant noise and immediate demands, the image of a silent planet drifting through an endless night offers a profound contrast. It represents a pace of existence measured in eons, not minutes. It reminds us that the universe possesses a vast, unhurried rhythm. When we align our thoughts with this cosmic tempo, the anxieties of our daily lives begin to lose their grip. We become observers of a grander scale, participants in a story that began long before our birth and will continue long after we are gone. We have built a golden mirror to catch the heat of the unseen, expanding the boundaries of our empathy. We are no longer confined to the bright spaces. We can now reach into the cold, finding beauty in the shadows. The universe is a place of endless mystery. Let the silence of the rogue planet guide your thoughts. Imagine the unbroken journey through the stars. The cosmos is vast, and we are fortunate to bear witness to its hidden wonders. The exploration continues, guided by the faint warmth of creation. Have you ever stood beside a deep, vast ocean and watched the tide pull away from the shore? The rhythmic motion of the water is a silent conversation between the earth and the moon, a physical tether stretching across the vacuum of space. Gravity is the invisible thread that binds celestial bodies together in a complex, enduring dance. When we picture the rogue wanderers of the deep cosmos, we tend to imagine them as solitary figures, cast out and destined to roam the galactic expanse in absolute, unbroken isolation. We think of a single, cold sphere moving through the endless night. But the universe is a master of complexity and surprise. What if these dark giants are not traveling alone? What if, when they were expelled from their ancestral star systems billions of years ago, they managed to hold on to a piece of their original home? Imagine a massive rogue gas giant, a world perhaps 3 or 4 times the mass of our own Jupiter, drifting through the interstellar dark. Now, picture a family of moons caught in its inescapable gravitational embrace, moving through the void in tandem. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and I want to pause to mention that 71% of the people who watch our videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace in these explorations and wish to support our continuous journey into the cosmos, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps us a great deal. Let us return to the dark and the hidden companions of the rogue worlds. The chaotic forces that expel a planet from a young solar system are monumental. Gravitational interactions between massive planets can become unstable, acting like a cosmic slingshot that hurls a world outward with enough velocity to escape the star forever. One might assume that such an intense event would strip a planet of its delicate moons, scattering them into independent orbits or sending them crashing into other bodies. Yet, computer simulations of these ancient celestial mechanics reveal a fascinating possibility. If a moon orbits close enough to its parent planet, the gravitational bond between them can be stronger than the disruptive forces of the ejection event. The planet leaves the solar system, and it takes its children with it. This creates a miniature solar system, a complete and self-contained hierarchy of worlds wandering through the deep space without a central star. The James Webb Space Telescope, peering into the shadows with its golden mirrors, might be detecting not just isolated spheres, but entire families of dark worlds moving in unison. This concept forces us to reimagine the nature of planetary systems. We are bound to the architecture of our own home, where the sun sits at the center, dictating the light and the climate for every orbiting body. But out in the galactic wilderness, the architecture is different. The massive rogue planet becomes the anchor, the central point around which its moons construct their existence. To understand the reality of such a moon, we must transport our minds to its surface. Imagine standing on a rocky, ice-covered world in the deep interstellar void. If you look up, you do not see a sun. Instead, a colossal dark sphere dominates the sky. The rogue planet would appear immense, a black void blocking out a vast section of the background stars. It emits no visible light, yet its presence is absolute and overwhelming. While the sky remains dark, the environment is far from dormant. The massive gravity of the parent planet exerts a relentless physical force on the moon. As the moon travels along its elliptical orbit, it is subjected to immense tidal forces. The gravitational pull is stronger on the near side of the moon than on the far side, causing the entire rocky body to stretch and compress. This continuous flexing, this rhythmic squeezing of rock and ice, generates friction deep within the moon. And friction generates heat. This process, known as tidal heating, is a source of profound energy that requires no starlight whatsoever. It is the friction of gravity, the warmth of momentum, and mass acting in the silence of the void. In our own solar system, we see the spectacular results of tidal heating. The moons of Jupiter, particularly Io and Europa, are subjected to the intense gravitational pull of the gas giant. Io is a world of rampant volcanic activity, its interior melted by the continuous gravitational friction. Europa harbors a vast, deep ocean of liquid water beneath a thick crust of ice, kept from freezing by the same internal warmth. Now, apply this mechanism to the dark moons of a rogue planet. Even in the absolute freezing depths of interstellar space, where the ambient temperature approaches absolute zero, the interior of a captured moon could be a haven of warmth. Beneath miles of solid protective ice, a global ocean of liquid water could exist for billions of years. This ocean would be a world of total darkness, a pressurized environment isolated from the rest of the universe. Yet, it would possess the two fundamental requirements for complex chemistry: liquid water and a continuous source of energy. The energy does not rain down from the sky in the form of photons. It seeps up from the ocean floor in the form of geothermal heat. The implications of this hidden warmth are staggering. Deep within these lightless oceans, hydrothermal vents might pierce the seafloor, spewing hot, mineral-rich water into the surrounding cold. On Earth, similar environments located in the deepest, darkest trenches of our oceans are teeming with life. Entire ecosystems thrive in the complete absence of sunlight, drawing their energy from the chemical reactions taking place around the vents. The heat from the Earth provides the catalyst for life, to build complex organic molecules. If such an environment can exist in the deep oceans of our world, there is no physical law preventing it from existing in the subsurface oceans of a rogue moon. The universe is a vast laboratory of chemistry, and the building blocks of life are scattered in great amounts across the galaxies. Carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen are forged in the stars and drift through the void. A rogue moon, gathering these materials during its formation, could hold a dark, vibrant biosphere within its frozen shell. The thought that life might arise, evolve, and thrive in an environment that has never known the light of a single star is a testament to the sheer resilience and creativity of nature. We often define the habitable zone of a star as the precise orbital distance where liquid water can exist on the surface of a planet. We call it the Goldilocks zone, a fragile ribbon of space where conditions are just right. But the existence of tidally heated rogue moons shatters this narrow definition. It suggests that habitability is not a place, but a condition. It is a balance of energy and matter that can occur in the most unexpected corners of the cosmos. The universe provides warmth in diverse and creative ways. The slow, rhythmic pulse of gravity can substitute for the blazing furnace of a star. This realization expands the potential real estate for life by an enormous margin. If there are billions of rogue planets wandering the Milky Way, and if even a small fraction of them harbor tidally heated moons, the number of hidden oceans in our galaxy could dwarf the number of warm, sunlit worlds like Earth. The dark, unseen mass of the universe might be the greatest sanctuary for complex chemistry and, perhaps, biology. We are compelled to rethink our definition of a life-bearing world. Detecting these hidden oceans is a challenge that stretches the limits of our current technology. The James Webb Space Telescope, with its profound sensitivity, can detect the faint infrared glow of the massive rogue planets. But spotting the even fainter signature of a small, orbiting moon requires another leap in observational power. Astronomers must look for minuscule variations in the light curves during microlensing events. Tiny anomalies that suggest a secondary, smaller body is accompanying the primary mass. They must analyze the thermal emissions with extreme precision, searching for the subtle heat signature of tidal friction radiating through the thick crust of ice. It is a quest that requires patience, dedication, and a willingness to look for the faintest whispers in the dark. We are searching for a needle in a cosmic haystack, but the potential reward is a fundamental shift in our understanding of existence and our place within this vast theater of creation. Consider the perspective of a conscious being evolving in such an environment. If life were to develop intelligence in the dark, pressurized depths of a rogue moon, their understanding of the universe would be different from ours. They would have no concept of stars, no notion of a sky, no awareness of the vast empty space above their icy ceiling. Their entire reality would be bounded by the solid rock of the seafloor and the impenetrable shell of the ice above. Their astronomy would be the study of sound and pressure, mapping the currents of their ocean and the rhythmic vibrations of the tidal forces that sustain them. The universe, to them, would be a dark, warm, and finite place. The idea of an infinite void filled with burning spheres of plasma would seem like a bizarre and incomprehensible fantasy. This thought experiment highlights the profound influence our environment has on our perception. We look up and see a universe of light, assuming light defines existence. But the cosmos accommodates infinite perspectives, infinite ways of experiencing the fabric of reality. The shadow moving through the data of our greatest telescope is more than just a massive object. It is a symbol of the unknown, a silent ambassador from the hidden realms of the galaxy. It reminds us that our knowledge is incomplete, that the universe is far richer and more complex than our earthly senses can reveal. Every time we build a better instrument, every time we refine our theories, we uncover new layers of reality. We find that the dark is not empty, the silence is not absolute, and the cold is not uniform. The universe is a continuous spectrum of energy and matter, an unending dance of creation and preservation. As we chart the paths of these wanderers, we are mapping the true extent of our cosmic home. We learn to appreciate the quiet endurance of worlds that travel without a sun. Let the peace of the interstellar void settle within you as we ponder the beauty of the cosmos. The journey into the unknown continues, guided by our quiet curiosity and the faint whispers of heat in the deep. Have you ever walked through an old forest in the deep of winter, when the leaves have fallen and the branches are bare against a gray sky? The world seems suspended, frozen in a state of quiet waiting. The animals are hidden, the streams are iced over, and the only sound is the crunch of your footsteps on the frosted earth. In that profound stillness, it is easy to believe that the forest is empty, that the vibrant energy of summer has vanished for all time. Yet, beneath the frozen soil, roots are reaching, seeds are waiting, and the complex chemistry of life endures. The quiet is not a sign of death, but a pause, a gathering of potential. The space between the stars shares this deceptive stillness. We look at the dark gaps between the glowing constellations and imagine an absolute, unchanging void. We think of the rogue planets as lost souls cast into a barren desert. But the galaxy is in constant motion, and the dark spaces are filled with invisible currents, gravitational rivers, and the potential for spectacular encounters. The infinite journey of a rogue world is not a straight line through an empty room. It is a complex navigation through a dynamic, unseen landscape. Hello again. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and I want to take a brief moment to share something with you. I noticed that 71% of the people who find peace in these cosmic stories have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you feel a connection to the quiet mysteries we explore and want to support our journey into the universe, please consider subscribing. It helps our community grow and ensures we can keep sharing these gentle moments of wonder together. Now, let us turn our attention back to the wandering shadows and the cosmic forest they traverse. The Milky Way galaxy is a sprawling structure, a swirling disk containing hundreds of billions of stars. But the distances between these stars are so immense that they defy human comprehension. If you were to shrink our sun to the size of a grain of sand, the nearest star would be another grain of sand resting several miles away. The space between them is the domain of the rogue planets. For millions of years, a rogue planet might travel without coming close to anything substantial. It glides through the silence, a cold sphere of rock and ice, or perhaps a massive ball of gas wrapped in eternal night. Its only companions are the sparse atoms of the interstellar medium and the faint, distant starlight. But the galaxy is not uniform. The wanderer might drift into a stellar nursery, a vast cloud of molecular gas where gravity is pulling matter together to form new suns. Here, the dark world becomes a silent witness to creation. It moves through the dense dust, its own gravity pulling a faint trail of material behind it. The environment is dark, cold, and ancient, but it is rich with the building blocks of the cosmos. The rogue world, born in the chaotic early days of a different solar system, now passes through the cradle of the next generation of stars. It is a ghost walking among the unborn. This contrast between the ancient, frozen wanderer and the raw, unformed potential of the nebula, is a profound testament to the diverse cycles of the universe. And then, after eons of isolation, the geometry of the galaxy dictates a meeting. The path of the rogue planet intersects with the gravitational influence of a star system. This is a rare and majestic event, a slow-motion interaction that plays out over hundreds of thousands of years. The wanderer does not crash into the star. Space is too vast for direct collisions to be common. Instead, there is a complex gravitational negotiation. As the dark world approaches the outer edges of the star system, it begins to feel the pull of the central sun. Its trajectory, straight and true for millions of years, begins to curve. The invisible fabric of space bends, drawing the wanderer into a delicate dance. It passes through the Oort cloud, the spherical shell of icy comets that marks the boundary of many star systems. Its immense mass disturbs the quiet comets, sending some tumbling toward the inner planets and casting others out into the void. The rogue world is a chaotic visitor, an agent of change in a stable system. Imagine standing on a world within that star system, looking up at the night sky. The approach of the rogue planet would not be heralded by a bright, new star. It would be a subtle dimming, a shadow crossing the familiar constellations. Its presence would be felt through the gentle tug of gravity, altering the tides and shifting the orbits of the outer moons. Sometimes the speed and the angle of the approach are just right. The star system reaches out with its gravitational arms and catches the wanderer. The rogue planet, after wandering the infinite dark for billions of years, is captured. It falls into a wide, eccentric orbit around the new sun. It becomes an adopted member of a new cosmic family. The ice on its surface, frozen solid since the dawn of its journey, might begin to sublime under the faint warmth of the distant star. A tenuous atmosphere might form, and for the first time in eons, the world experiences the concept of daytime. However dim and fleeting, the dark planet has found a harbor. This idea challenges our notion of permanent destiny. A world cast out in violence can, through the slow mechanics of the cosmos, find a new anchor. The universe is not a place of final endings, but of constant transformation and endless possibilities. The rogue planet, once a symbol of utter isolation, becomes a testament to the dynamic nature of celestial mechanics. It brings with it the chemical history of the deep space, delivering ancient elements to its new stellar home. It is a cosmic messenger, bridging the gap between the isolated void and the bustling environment of a solar system. But capture is a rare outcome. Often, the momentum of the rogue planet carries it past the star system. It dips into the gravitational well, accelerates as it rounds the sun, and is flung back out into the deep space, its path altered for all time by the encounter. This is known as a gravitational assist. The wanderer steals a tiny fraction of the star system orbital energy, propelling itself into the dark with a new velocity and a new direction. It leaves behind a disturbed system, a subtle reminder of its passage. The inner planets might experience slight orbital shifts, and the night sky of those worlds might have been graced by a temporary, dark presence blocking the stars. The rogue world returns to the silence, continuing its ancient journey. It is a cosmic nomad, belonging nowhere, yet interacting with everything it passes. There is a profound poetry in this nomadic existence. We are creatures bound to a single rock, dependent on a single star. We construct our lives around the cycle of the sun, our cultures rooted in the soil of the earth. The concept of an unbound world, a planet with no sun to orbit, evokes a sense of deep existential wonder. It forces us to ask what it means to be a world. Does a planet need a star to have a purpose? Or is the mere act of existing, of carrying mass and history through the void, sufficient? Let us ponder the sheer scale of the distances involved. If you could travel at the speed of light, it would still take years to reach the nearest star. The rogue planet travels at a fraction of that speed, creeping through the interstellar medium over time spans that dwarf human history. Empires rise and fall, continents shift and collide on Earth, all while the dark wanderer crosses the space between two stars. This slow, deliberate pace offers a profound lesson. We are obsessed with speed and rapid progress. We measure success by how much we accomplish in short periods, but the universe operates on a different schedule. The grandest transformations require billions of years to unfold. The rogue planet does not rush. It accepts the vast distances, the endless night, and the slow passage of time. It moves with a quiet dignity, a silent acceptance of its place in the cosmic order. The rogue planet is a monument to the resilience of matter. It endures the most extreme cold, the deepest isolation, the longest nights. It holds its shape, its ancient chemistry, its silent potential across distances that break the human mind. It is a quiet survivor in a universe that is often violent and unforgiving. When the golden mirrors of the James Webb Space Telescope capture the faint, moving shadow of one of these objects, they are not just recording a data point. They are bearing witness to an epic saga of survival and endurance. The telescope acts as a quiet observer, documenting the silent passage of the universe's most solitary travelers. Let the vastness of the cosmos bring peace to your mind. The universe is grand, the mysteries are deep, and we are here, bearing witness to the gentle unfolding of reality. Let the silence of the interstellar void become a source of comfort, a reminder that there is always more to discover, always more to learn, and always more wonder waiting in the dark. Have you ever waded into the ocean, standing waist deep in the water, and felt the invisible pull of the undertow shifting the sand beneath your feet? You cannot see the current. The surface of the water might appear calm, reflecting the sky above like a flawless mirror. Yet a massive, unseen force acts below, guiding the movement of the sea and shaping the coastline over eons. We experience the effects of this hidden power without ever laying eyes on the cause. This earthly experience mirrors one of the profound mysteries of the cosmos. When we gaze into the spaces between the glowing stars, we assume we look at a simple vacuum, an empty theater where celestial bodies play out their isolated dramas. But the universe has a hidden architecture. It possesses an invisible skeleton that dictates the movement of every star, every galaxy, and every wandering shadow caught in the dark. The rogue planets we follow do not drift in a random, chaotic fashion. They navigate a complex, unseen topography. They flow along the invisible currents of something we call dark matter. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and as we continue this peaceful exploration of the cosmos, I want to take a brief moment to mention that 71% of the people who watch our videos and find a quiet refuge in these stories have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you appreciate these gentle journeys into the unknown and wish to support our continuous exploration of the universe, please consider subscribing. It helps our community grow and ensures we can keep sharing these moments of wonder together. Let us return to the deep space and the invisible currents that shape the dark. To comprehend the journey of a wandering world, we must first understand the ocean it travels through. For generations, humanity believed that the universe was composed entirely of the things we could see, touch, or interact with. We thought the luminous matter, the blazing stars, the swirling nebulas, the solid planets, and the glowing gas made up the entirety of existence. But as our instruments grew more sensitive and our observations more precise, a strange discrepancy emerged. The galaxies we observed were spinning far too fast. Based on the amount of visible matter they contained, they should have torn themselves apart, scattering their stars into the void like water flung from a spinning wheel. Yet they held together. There was an unseen gravitational glue binding them tight, a massive presence that emitted no light, absorbed no light, and reflected no light. Scientists named this invisible scaffolding dark matter. The numbers associated with this discovery are humbling. When we catalog the contents of the universe, we find that the ordinary matter, the atoms that make up the Earth, the Sun, the James Webb Space Telescope, and our own bodies, accounts for roughly 5% of everything that exists. Another 27% is composed of dark matter. The remaining 68% is an even more mysterious force called dark energy, which drives the expansion of space itself. This means that 95% of the cosmos is invisible to our biological senses and our standard instruments. We live in a universe dominated by ghosts. The radiant stars and the grand spiral galaxies are merely bright dust scattered upon a vast, unseen web. This cosmic web forms the fundamental structure of the universe. It is a network of colossal filaments, invisible threads of dark matter that stretch across billions of light years. Where these filaments intersect, they create deep gravitational valleys, massive wells of attraction that draw in ordinary matter. The galaxies are born in these dense nodes, clustering together in the glowing cities of the cosmos. The vast, empty spaces between the filaments are the cosmic voids, regions of profound isolation. When a rogue planet is cast out of its home star system, it does not escape the influence of this web. It leaves the bright node of its birth and enters the dark pathways of the invisible skeleton. Its journey is guided by the subtle, immense pull of dark matter, flowing like a silent drop of water down a cosmic watershed. Imagine the rogue world, a frozen sphere of ancient rock and ice, moving through the deep space. It has no map and no destination, but its path is not aimless. It surfs the invisible contours of the galaxy. As it approaches a filament of dark matter, it accelerates, drawn into the gravitational current. It might spend millions of years traveling along this unseen highway, carried through the darkness by a force it can never touch or see. This interaction between the rogue planet and the dark matter is a silent ballet. Two invisible entities, one a solid world of frozen matter, the other a diffuse cloud of unknown particles, interacting through the fundamental language of gravity. The dark world responds to the dark web. The James Webb Space Telescope, with its magnificent golden mirrors, sits 1,000,000 miles from Earth, staring into this complex architecture. While it cannot see the dark matter, it observes the effects of its immense gravity. When the light from a distant galaxy passes near a massive filament of dark matter, the fabric of space warps, and the light bends. The background galaxy appears distorted, stretched into an arc or a ring of light. By mapping these subtle distortions, astronomers trace the invisible threads of the cosmic web. They build a map of the shadows, and within this hidden landscape, the rogue planets wander. When we detect the subtle micro-lensing event of a wandering world, we witness a tiny, localized ripple in the much larger ocean of dark matter. The rogue planet, with its concentrated mass, adds its own small warp to the grand topography of the invisible universe. There is a profound philosophical comfort in recognizing this hidden structure. We often look at the vastness of space and feel a sense of overwhelming chaos. The distances seem too great, the emptiness too absolute. We worry that the universe is a disconnected expanse where things drift without purpose. But the existence of the cosmic web tells a different story. It reveals a universe of deep connection, a place where everything is bound together by an unseen framework. The rogue planet, though separated from the warmth of a star, is never lost. It is held in the gentle, firm embrace of the galaxy's invisible skeleton. It follows the paths laid out by the dark matter, participating in a grand, silent choreography that has been unfolding since the dawn of time. Consider the implications for our own world. The Earth, the Sun, and the entire solar system are also moving through this invisible web. We travel along the outer edge of a spiral arm in the Milky Way, carried by the gravitational currents of the unseen mass. The dark matter flows through us and around us at every moment, a silent wind that leaves no trace. We are immersed in the mystery, breathing it in, living our lives within the invisible scaffolding of creation. This realization demands a shift in our perspective. We must learn to look beyond the surface of things, to appreciate the profound depths that lie beneath the visible world. The things we can see possess beauty, but they represent only a fraction of the story. The majesty of the cosmos resides in the shadows, in the quiet, enduring presence of the things we cannot perceive. As the dark planet continues its journey along the cosmic filament, it might encounter other wanderers. The streams of dark matter act as gathering places, drawing isolated objects together over vast spans of time. A rogue planet might find itself in the company of other exiled worlds, a silent procession of ghosts moving in the same direction. They would not share a sun, they would not form a solar system in the traditional sense, but they would share a path. Their gravitational fields might interact in subtle ways, a slow exchange of momentum in the dark. These encounters would lack light and sound, recognized only by the faint shifting of mass and the warping of space. Yet, they represent a form of cosmic community, a gathering of the unseen in the deep void. The universe is generous in its complexity. It provides sanctuaries for every type of existence. For the bright and the hot, there are the stars. For the complex chemistry of life, there are the temperate planets. And for the quiet, frozen remnants of creation, there are the endless paths of the cosmic web. The rogue planet is a perfect expression of this unseen environment. It is a world uniquely adapted to the dark, a silent traveler moving with the slow rhythms of eternity. It does not need the light to justify its existence. It finds its purpose in the simple act of enduring, of carrying the ancient history of the cosmos across the vast gulfs of space. When you next gaze up at the night sky, look past the stars. Let your eyes rest on the dark patches, the empty spaces between the constellations. Imagine the invisible threads of dark matter weaving through that emptiness, connecting the distant galaxies in a massive, unseen web. Imagine the dark worlds, the rogue planets, and the failed stars drifting in silence along those threads. They are out there, moving through the eternal night, guided by forces older than the Earth itself. The universe is a vast, interconnected organism, and every shadow plays a vital role in its ongoing evolution. We are privileged to be conscious observers of this grand mystery. We have built instruments capable of feeling the warmth of the unseen, and in doing so, we have expanded our own reality. The journey into the dark continues, a quiet exploration of the infinite. Let the silence of the cosmos bring you peace, and let the hidden wonders of the universe fill your mind with awe. The path is endless, the discoveries are gentle, and the mysteries wait with patience for us to find them. Have you ever sat by a hearth as the final embers of a fire shift from a bright, angry orange to a dull, quiet red, and finally to a cold, ashen gray? The room cools, the light fades, and the vibrant energy of the flame gives way to an enduring, silent chill. It is a natural progression, a surrender of heat to the surrounding air. We understand this process on a human scale, watching the warmth dissipate over a few short hours. But what happens when we scale this fading ember up to the size of a world and stretch the hours into trillions of years? To truly comprehend the moving shadows captured by the James Webb Space Telescope, we must look beyond their present state and project our minds into the deepest, most distant future of the cosmos. We must ask what awaits these solitary wanderers when the universe itself grows old. We must consider the ultimate fate of all matter, the slow, inevitable winding down of the cosmic clock. The moving shadow is not just a present anomaly, it is a preview of the long, silent night that awaits every structure in the physical universe. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and as we embark on this contemplation of deep time, I want to take a moment to note that 71% of the people who find comfort in these quiet explorations have not yet subscribed to our channel. If you appreciate these peaceful journeys into the unknown and wish to support our mission to unravel the gentle mysteries of the universe, please consider subscribing. It helps our community grow and ensures we can continue to share these moments of wonder together. Let us turn our thoughts back to the fading embers of the dark cosmos, the stars that populate our night sky. For all their brilliance and apparent permanence, are ephemeral things. They are nuclear furnaces burning through finite reserves of hydrogen fuel. Even the smallest, longest-lived red dwarf stars will exhaust their supply, fading into cold, dead remnants known as black dwarfs. Scientists estimate that in a few trillion years, the era of starlight will come to a close. The universe will enter a dark epoch, a time when no new stars are born, and the last glowing embers of the visible cosmos wink out one by one. In this distant future, the rogue planets, those dark spheres we view as isolated anomalies, will become the standard. They are the pioneers of the dark era, entities already adapted to a universe devoid of stellar warmth. Their journey is a glimpse into the ultimate fate of all matter. Consider the internal heat that sustains these wandering worlds. As we discussed, the friction of gravity and the violent energy of their formation provide a hidden source of warmth beneath their frozen crusts. But there is another, more subtle furnace burning within them. Deep in the rocky cores of these planets, radioactive elements undergo a slow, steady decay. This process releases a continuous trickle of thermal energy, helping to keep subsurface oceans liquid and driving internal geological activity. On Earth, this same radioactive decay powers the movement of tectonic plates and the eruption of volcanoes. But this fuel, like the hydrogen in a star, is finite. Over billions and trillions of years, the radioactive isotopes will reach the end of their half-lives. The internal fires will begin to bank, and the warmth will seep away into the void. Imagine the slow, majestic progression of this cosmic cooling. For a rogue planet harboring a subsurface ocean, the decline in heat would be imperceptible on any biological timescale. But over eons, the thick ice crust would thicken. The ceiling of the hidden ocean would lower, freezing drop by drop as the warmth from the core retreats. The hydrothermal vents at the bottom of the sea, once teeming with potential chemistry and perhaps primitive life, would lose their vigor. The mineral-rich plumes would weaken, sputtering into the crushing dark. The environment would transition from a dynamic, energy-rich sanctuary into an increasingly static, silent tomb. Any life that might have evolved in those pressurized depths would face a slow, inescapable winter. It is a melancholy thought, yet it possesses a stark, undeniable beauty. The universe does not owe us permanence. It is a symphony of cycles, and even the longest movements must reach their final chord. When the last radioactive atoms decay and the core of the rogue planet cools to match the ambient temperature of the interstellar void, a profound silence will settle over the world. The ocean will freeze solid to the core. The entire planet will reach thermal equilibrium, with the empty space around it dropping to just a fraction of a degree above absolute zero. At this point, the world becomes a perfect monument. Without the internal churn of geology or the external influence of a star to cause erosion, the surface features will remain locked in a state of eternal preservation. A mountain range thrust upward during the planet's violent youth will stand unchanged for trillions of years. A crater carved by a stray comet will hold its shape until the end of time. The planet will become a cold, flawless statue drifting through an equally cold and dark universe. The James Webb Space Telescope detects the rogue planets of today because they retain a faint whisper of heat, but the frozen monuments of the far future will emit almost nothing. They will become true ghosts, undetectable by any instrument that relies on thermal radiation. They will be massive, silent spheres of ice and rock, moving blindly through a universe that has forgotten the light. Yet, they will continue to interact through the one force that never fades: gravity. Even in the deepest cold of the dark era, the mass of these dead worlds will warp the fabric of space. They will continue to orbit the centers of their galaxies, or whatever massive black holes remain after the stars have died. If two of these frozen wanderers happen to cross paths, their gravitational fields will engage in a complex, silent negotiation, bending their trajectories in the absolute dark. When we realize this, the moving shadow in the telescope data takes on a new layer of significance. It is not just a curiosity. It is a survivor. It represents the ultimate endurance of the physical universe. In a cosmos characterized by violent explosions and the relentless consumption of nuclear fuel, the rogue planet offers a model of quiet persistence. It asks nothing of its environment. It consumes no fuel from the space around it. It merely holds its form and continues its journey. This simple act of enduring is a powerful counterpoint to the chaotic energy of the stars. It suggests the true nature of the universe is stillness and mass. We are transient beings made of fragile biology, clinging to a rock that orbits a temporary star. The fundamental particles that form our bodies will eventually join the cold, quiet ranks of the dark era. Let us dwell on the peace that can be found in this perspective. The anxieties of human existence often stem from a sense of urgency, a feeling that time is running out and that our actions must have visible consequences. We build monuments, hoping to leave a legacy that outlasts our brief lives. But the cosmos builds monuments of entire worlds, freezing them in the void to endure for trillions of years. Knowing that such deep time exists, that the universe possesses a patience beyond our comprehension, can provide a soothing balm for the restless mind. We do not need to rush. We do not need to burn like a star to have meaning. There is a place for the quiet observers, for the entities that move through the dark and bear witness to the passage of eons. As the shadow moves across the detector, bending the light of a background star for a glorious moment, it leaves a message for those willing to listen. The message is one of profound endurance. The light may fade, the heat may dissipate, and the stars may die. But the universe does not end. It changes form, settling into a long, quiet sleep. The rogue planets are the vanguard of this new era, silent guardians of the void, carrying the memories of a brighter time locked within their frozen cores. They remind us that the absence of light is not the absence of reality. and the cessation of heat is not the final chapter. The cosmos will continue its slow, majestic dance long after the music has stopped. It is a dance of pure gravity and mass, a silent choreography in the absolute zero of the eternal night. We are privileged to glimpse these wanderers before the dark fully takes hold. We are the conscious minds awake in the brief morning of the universe, looking out at the shape of the evening to come. Let the immensity of this future calm your present worries. The journey is vast, the destination is a profound and lasting peace, and the shadows we see today are the eternal monuments of tomorrow. Have you ever looked into a mirror and tried to imagine the immense, complex chain of events that led to your reflection? The atoms forming your eyes, the light reflecting off the glass, the consciousness processing the image in your mind. It is a profound realization that we are not separate from the cosmos. We are the cosmos looking back at itself. When the James Webb Space Telescope peers into the deep dark and catches a moving shadow, it is an extension of our own sight. We are the universe waking up in a quiet corner of the Milky Way, building instruments of gold and beryllium to seek out our silent siblings in the void. This rogue planet, this dark wanderer, is part of our extended cosmic family. It shares our history, forged in the same ancient stellar nurseries, bound by the same fundamental laws of gravity and heat. To study it is to study a different path our world might have taken, a life lived entirely in the shadows. The sheer scale of this discovery demands a pause, a moment to let the weight of the universe settle upon our shoulders and quiet our thoughts. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and as we reach the culmination of our quiet exploration, I want to take a moment to mention that 71% of the people who find peace in these cosmic stories have not yet subscribed to our channel. If you appreciate these peaceful journeys into the unknown and wish to support our mission to unravel the gentle mysteries of the universe, please consider subscribing. It helps our community grow and ensures we can continue to share these moments of wonder together. Let us turn our thoughts back to the mirror of the cosmos and the profound meaning of the dark. The human mind is a remarkable phenomenon, confined to a fragile biological shell, restricted to a lifespan of a few short decades. We possess the capacity to grasp the infinite. We can calculate the mass of a ghost world drifting millions of light years away. We can map the invisible threads of dark matter that bind the galaxies together in a cosmic web. We can project our understanding trillions of years into the future, to a time when the last stars fade into absolute silence. This ability to understand is a fundamental shift in the nature of reality. For billions of years, the universe expanded, stars ignited, planets formed, and galaxies collided in absolute, unthinking silence. There was no one to witness the grandeur, no one to measure the distances or marvel at the profound beauty of creation. The cosmos was a vast stage without an audience. Then, on a small, watery world orbiting an ordinary yellow star, matter organized itself into a configuration capable of asking questions. The universe grew eyes to see its own vastness and a mind to contemplate its own mysteries. When we consider the dark wanderer captured by the telescope, we must recognize the contrast between its silent, unthinking endurance and our brief, conscious spark. The rogue planet is a monument of mass and gravity. It moves through the interstellar medium without intention, a passive participant in the cosmic dance. It holds the ancient chemical records of the galaxy in its frozen crust, but it cannot read them. We are the interpreters of those silent records. We are the ones who give meaning to the shadows. Without observers, a microlensing event is just a temporary bending of photons. With observers, it becomes a story of discovery, a revelation of hidden worlds. Our consciousness elevates the physical mechanics of the universe into something profound and beautiful. We bring wonder to the dark. This is a heavy responsibility, but it is also a source of deep, resonant peace. We do not need to conquer the universe or bend it to our will. Our purpose is to understand, to bear witness, and to appreciate the intricate tapestry of existence. The rogue planet is a repository of cosmic history. The iron in its core was forged in the dying gasps of a massive star, an ancient sun that exploded and scattered its heavy elements across the void billions of years ago. The water ice on its surface is composed of hydrogen, the oldest element in the universe, combined with oxygen from another generation of stars. Every atom in the Dark Wanderer has a lineage that stretches back to the dawn of time. It is a flying museum of cosmic chemistry, preserving the raw materials of creation in a deep freeze. When we study these objects, we trace the lineage of the elements that make up our own bodies. The iron in your blood and the calcium in your bones share a common origin with the materials that form the rogue planet. We are made of stardust, and the Dark Wanderers are our silent, frozen siblings. This chemical connection reinforces the truth that we are not separate from the universe. We are an integral part of the physical fabric of reality, bound by the same laws and composed of the same ancient matter. The James Webb Space Telescope is the pinnacle of this observing purpose. It hangs in the freezing cold of space, a fragile structure of metal and glass, yet it possesses a power that rivals the stars. It pierces the dust clouds of stellar nurseries, looking back to the dawn of time. It measures the atmospheric composition of distant worlds, searching for the chemical signatures of life. And it catches the fleeting shadow of a rogue planet moving against the backdrop of distant galaxies. This instrument expands the boundaries of human empathy. It forces us to look beyond our immediate surroundings, to consider the diverse and alien environments that exist in the deep space. It teaches us that the universe is far richer, far more complex, and far more mysterious than we ever imagined. Let us reflect on the concept of home. For humanity, home is a specific location in space and time. It is a warm, sunlit planet with a breathable atmosphere and abundant liquid water. We are deeply attached to this specific environment. But the discovery of rogue planets challenges this narrow definition. It suggests that a world can exist without a sun, moving through the endless night in a state of perpetual winter. If life can take hold in the dark, pressurized oceans beneath the ice of these wanderers, then home is a much broader concept. Home is any place where matter and energy achieve a delicate balance, allowing for the emergence of complexity. The universe is a vast collection of potential homes, some bright and hot, others dark and freezing. We share the cosmos with entities that experience reality in ways we can scarcely comprehend. Their sky is a dome of eternal black, their source of energy a slow gravitational pulse. Yet, they are part of the same cosmic story. They are our silent neighbors in the grand, sweeping architecture of the galaxy. When the anxieties of daily life threaten to overwhelm you, let your mind drift back to the image of the wandering shadow. Consider the scale of its journey. It moves through distances measured in light years, over time spans measured in eons. The rise and fall of human civilizations, the triumphs and tragedies of our brief history, are imperceptible ripples in the vast ocean of cosmic time. This realization provides a sense of proportion. Our worries and fears are bound to a tiny, fleeting moment. The universe endures, the planets orbit, the stars burn, and the dark wanderers continue their silent march through the void. There is a profound comfort in this enduring stability. We find peace in the knowledge that we are part of a system far larger and far older than ourselves. We are a brief, beautiful spark in the long night, and that is enough. Let us look back at the path we have traveled together. We began by questioning the nature of the dark. We learned about the golden mirrors of the Space Telescope and its ability to detect the invisible warmth of creation. We explored the origins of the rogue planets cast out from chaotic stellar nurseries. We visualized the faint bow shocks they create as they plow through the sparse atoms of the interstellar medium. We marveled at the mechanics of gravitational microlensing, the bending of ancient light. We journeyed into the internal oceans of these dark worlds, considering the possibility of life thriving around geothermal vents. We followed their paths through the cosmic web, surfing the invisible currents of dark matter. And we projected our minds into the distant future, to a time when the frozen wanderers become the eternal monuments of a silent cosmos. This comprehensive journey through the dark has reshaped our understanding of what the universe holds. As we draw this final chapter to a close, I invite you to carry this cosmic perspective with you. When you step outside on a clear night and look up at the stars, remember the shadows that move between them. Remember the hidden oceans, the invisible webs of dark matter, and the deep, silent history of the rogue planets. Let the vastness of the cosmos expand your own internal horizons. Let the quiet endurance of the universe soothe your restless mind. The pursuit of knowledge is a noble endeavor, balanced with a sense of wonder and a deep appreciation for the mystery of existence. We do not study the universe to conquer it. We study it to find our place within it. We are the curious children of the cosmos, looking out at the dark and finding beauty in the unknown. The journey of discovery is an infinite circle, a continuous return to the fundamental questions of who we are and where we come from. The space telescope will continue to stare into the deep space, gathering the ancient light and uncovering new wonders. It will find more moving shadows, more distant galaxies, and more clues to the origins of everything. We will be here, watching, learning, and marveling at the quiet majesty of creation. The universe is a vast, beautiful, and deeply mysterious place. It invites us to explore, to question, and to dream. But above all, it invites us to find peace in the knowledge that we are part of something far greater than ourselves. We are a conscious spark in the eternal night, bearing witness to the magnificent dance of the cosmos. Let the silence of the stars surround you, and let the gentle mysteries of the universe fill your soul with a lasting, profound calm. Keep looking up, keep asking questions, and never lose your sense of wonder for the infinite dark.